All right. Well, I guess we're actually going to do this for once. Yeah, so it's just going to be me this time for this little podcasty talk about thing about what's going on with the channel and about other stuff that I'm seeing in the gaming industry. And it's going to be kind of short, maybe about a half hour at the most. I can't think we're going to go too much longer than that. Plus, let's be honest, y'all don't want to listen to me that long. But thanks for being here. Let's get into the stuff. So first off, I do want to say thank you so much to the Patreon members and the YouTube membership people that have been jumping on board. This has been so cool to see. So Patreon has been stood up. YouTube members have always been a thing, but Patreon got stood up, as well as a Teespring store. The links to all that stuff is in the description if you wanted to support the channel in that way. But it was really cool to be able to start that up and see so many people just kind of hopping in to help support. It means a lot to me, and it's kind of surreal knowing that people are financially trying to keep this thing afloat, keep me going, which is really cool to see. So thank you so much. I can't say that enough. I really appreciate it. And if it's something that you are interested in, please feel free to check out the links in the description below. So what's been going on with the channel? I started doing this 100 days game playthrough of two different games. Well, technically 3. I turned our Ark playthrough into that, and then we were also playing Grounded and Raft. Now, Grounded still has a little bit more time to go. I still have a bit to go on that, but Raft is at its close. Like, there's not a whole lot left going on with Raft, and I'm trying to find a game that may or may not take Raft's place, and I'd really be curious to see what you guys think and how you feel about it. So at any point in time, if you have some input or an opinion or whatever, please feel free to throw something in the comments here, or even check out our Discord. A link to that will be in the description as well, and just let me know what you guys think. So basically, my idea behind this is playing 100 game days in of whatever game, right? So really the only stipulation is that it has to be a game that I can easily track the day and night span, right? I can clearly tell this is game day 1, game day 2, game day 3. Now, there are a few games that have came to my mind to think about doing, but I wasn't 100% sure about how you all feel about it. One of my original thoughts was playing 7 Days to Die, mainly because Alpha 20 is out now, so that's a big deal, and then I would be able to easily track the day system there, right? It's pretty cut and dry. But I did notice that when I started to do a 7 Days to Die playthrough before, the view count really wasn't there, you know? I think we were sitting at like 50 or 60 views per video, which is kind of what Raft is, which is a real bummer, but it is what it be. You guys watch what you want to watch. I'm not going to harp on that. But I just kind of wanted to know if maybe that would be something you guys would want to see. But I'm really just trying to put my feelers out. I really want to know y'all's opinion in this, but yeah, I enjoy 7 Days to Die. I think it's a really well put together game. I think it's come a long way, and I'm really excited to see how the developers are changing things. And this last rendition, Alpha 20, is like a huge update. All sorts of different POIs, like the textures and graphics got overhauled, like the armor system got overhauled. There's been a lot going on. Honestly, 7 Days to Die in the last 2 to 3 years has had just like a tremendous amount of updates to it, so it's been super fun to see. If you're not playing that game, I highly suggest checking it out, because honestly, it has a little bit of everything. It's got that crafting, it's got that action, it's got that survival. It can be really fun. Probably going to have a community server on that one, or at least a server here soon that people are going to jump on and play on, so maybe we'll stream it sometime and see what you guys think about that as well. Another game that I thought about jumping back into was actually Conan. So the first time I did Conan as an episodal gameplay, I just did the Exiled Lands, the first map that came out. Now, the Isles of Sipta have come out a while ago, and that is also an option to play on, and there are a few modded maps to play on as well. We could throw a couple mods on there and try that out. Conan has always been a fun game, and that one got pretty good feedback when I did that playthrough a while back, and if you don't know what that is, it's definitely in the playlist category. You can find that of the Conan season 1 that never basically had a season 2. Yeah, so those are the two that kind of jumped in my head. There's a few others that I've been having fun with lately, but I don't know if they actually fit very well. And then that would kind of segue into, like, you know, those sort of games that maybe might be like more streaming sort of style game. I'm dropping stuff all over my desk. More so a something to stream, but not necessarily something to do episodal gameplay on. And that game really for me right now is No Man's Sky. I've heard a lot of mixed feelings about this game, and I understood that when it first came out, apparently there were a lot of promises that were not fulfilled when that game released, and it was a very bad reaction to a lot of people getting really upset about it. And I understand that looking back on it. You know, I think whenever a developer says, hey, we're releasing this game and it's going to have all this stuff, and the game comes out and it has 20% of it, you're going to be a little ticked off. And I don't blame people for doing that. However, when I jumped into the game, maybe a few months after it released, I didn't know what it was about. So I didn't have any expectations going into it. And while I thought it was fun, I thought that it was kind of redundant in the beginning. It got a little tedious early on. But I got to tell you, in the last few updates that this game has put out, like the idea of being able to be a space pirate and having more combat, and it seems like the worlds that you're traveling between are more alive and there's more stuff going on in general. Just a lot of different options between fleet management and owning a freighter and having fighter squadron, and space battles got a bit better, I think, too. And you can even tame animals in there now. Like it's gotten pretty wild, and it's been a really fun. I don't have a whole lot of free time, but when I do have it, I've been spending it with No Man's Sky, and I've been really enjoying that. But that doesn't really have a good way for me to track day or night, so I don't think that's something I would ever do with like an episodal gameplay. That would be more of maybe like just a streaming something that I would do here and there. And the game is so vast and big that I would really never run out of stuff to do. I think that would be more of like a chill, relax sort of day stream maybe. So we talked about Raft being at its end. Grounded still has some time to go, and there are some massive updates happening in Grounded, which really have me intrigued. However, I don't know if I'm ever going to get to them. They are still in the testing phase. They're not actually like release. So I think the cool thing about doing these 100-day game day playthroughs, 100-day game day, 100 game day, 100 game day playthroughs. I got to find a way to shorten that up. 100 days. I'm just going to do that. You guys know it's game days. I'm not spending 100 days of my actual life doing this. 100 days. So I feel like that doesn't... By doing 100 days, I can play 100 days, and then if a lot of updates and stuff comes out for a game like that, I can always go back and do 100 more days, pick up where I left off, you know, keep that save and pick up where I left off and do it again. So the options are there, and I think that would be plausible with a game like that. That game is super fun. I think in general, I have been so much more excited and satisfied and genuinely intrigued by some of the smaller game developers and the indie developers lately. Since I really don't trust most AAA games these days. Most AAA developers, I don't trust them. Like 9 times out of 10, it's just like this disappointing mess where they promise you these wonderful, amazing games, charge you $60, and you find out the game's broken as hell, and then they might fix it 2 years later. I'm looking at you, Cyberpunk. I'm looking at you. You hyped yourself up for a year and a half, and you flopped. And then you put a game, you actually finish your game 2 years later, and you're like, oh, here it is, finally. Bullshit. You're a AAA company with a massive budget. I don't want to hear crap about that. So it really aggravates me. Battlefield 24, the last Battlefield that came out. Like, there's so many of these games that drop with these huge backings, and they just ultimately flop, and it's really discouraging. So I found myself definitely being more interested in a lot of these smaller company-based games because at least I know what I'm getting myself into. When they ask me for $15 for an early access game and tell me I'm going to have problems with it, at least I know. I mean, hell, Grounded says that. When I downloaded Grounded, it said, hey, this is early access. You're going to have some bugs, but it's not crazy expensive. So I bought the game and I tried it and played it out, and I haven't ran into a bug. Well, not an actual bug. Like, I'm running into insects all the time, but not an actual glitch with the game, period. You know, so it really makes me kind of sit back and think about, like, what is going on with these bigger companies and this weird monopolizing crap that I'm starting to see with, like, Microsoft buying all these other companies out. Like, it makes me worried. It makes me worried. And maybe I'm just getting, like, cynical. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe I'm getting cynical and I'm just, I don't know, jaded with the whole thing. But man, it just feels like this didn't happen when I was growing up around video games. It didn't happen that way. When you got a game, it released and that's what you got. And there wasn't this, oh, we need to push all these updates to all this crap. No, like, you paid for it and that's what it was. And somewhere along the lines, I feel like we've lost sight of that. And I know that it takes a lot to make a game, right? And I understand that, but I feel like, I don't know. It's either it's either someone revitalizing a game that's already been out, or just, you know, milking a franchise until it's just dried up, like some of the shooters out here, or it's just half-assed. It's just half-assed, and I don't know why. It's mind-blowing. It seems to me that these bigger companies should be making really good games, and they're not. They're just, I don't know. They're just doing the minimum effort for, like, maximum reward. And it's other games that have done it too. When Fallout 76 came out, I loved it. I thought it was a great game when it came out because it was something a little bit different and it was a little bit new to me. But very quickly I was like, this doesn't feel like Fallout to me. It doesn't feel like Fallout. After playing New Vegas or Fallout 4, you're like, that feels like Fallout. This doesn't feel like Fallout. And even Fallout 4 was buggy as hell when it came out. It still is. But man, I don't know. I just feel like a lot of, and then they put out Fallout 76 and all these bugs happen. And instead of actually fixing them, they say, oh, look at all these cool skins you can buy in the game now. Like, they're relying on these microtransactions. Get the hell out of here. And then they patch it and screw it up. New World did the same thing. I had so much fun with that game for the first few months when it came out, and then it just went to shit in a handbasket. There's not a whole lot of people playing that game anymore. For that reason, they just trashed it. Amazon. Think about that. Think about how vast, how big, how much money that company just has to just throw at whatever they want. And they couldn't keep a game, and they could not keep a video game afloat for 3 months. That isn't the most bullshit I've ever heard in my life. And if it's not these weird flip-floppy games, it's somebody trying to use a game to push some sort of social agenda or political issue. And God, that aggravates me too. Like, provide me my escapism. That's what I want. That's what it's about. I don't want too much real life into this. It's why I play these things, to get away from all that crap. It drives me bonkers. Oh boy, I'm venting. That was a bit of a tangent. I don't even know how I got there. Man, I think I was talking about Grounded and how good it was. At any rate, the other game that we're currently playing is obviously Ark, and that is closing as well. We're getting to the end of season 4 on Lost Island, which is pretty close. If it's not out already by the time this is out, I think it is. It might be. Probably around the same time. This might come out before that, but it's pretty good. It's getting pretty close. Now, obviously, Fjordur map is coming out in June at some point in time. I still don't see an actual release date. I just see June of 2022. I'm assuming it might get pushed back. I don't know. But obviously I'll pick up a new season on there. But there is a modded map that I'm going to jump into and play before that time, which I felt like would be a good opportunity for me to jump on another map, play a series on that, give them time to release Fjordur, do all their patches and updates, and then slide into Fjordur. So I'm not going to jump into it originally. Our community server might hop over there pretty quickly, so we'll be live streaming from there, I'm sure. But as far as the episodal gameplay stuff, it's not really going to be there. But the majority of what I see on our channel is, and I don't say everyone because it doesn't apply that, the majority of people that have come to the channel seem to be watching just the mod reviews, and that's what they want to watch, and that's what they come to the channel for. And I'll be honest with you, I love you guys, and I have fun doing the mod reviews, but God, I wish it was the other way around. And this might sound like me complaining, but I really wish that, I almost wish the episodal gameplay was the more popular content, and the mod review thing was sort of the side thing, and it definitely doesn't seem that way, but it is what it is. It is what it is. But if I'm being completely honest, especially with Ark 2 coming out this year, I don't know. I mean, I don't know how that game's going to go either. I don't know what the modded content's going to be like that. I can't see myself doing mod reviews on video games for the next, 3 or 4. I just don't see it happening for the extended future. So there's going to come a time where I'm going to have to slowly gravitate to more of the gameplay episodal stuff, which is what I'd rather do. But we're not there yet. There's still some things that I see that I want to play around with, and I do have fun with the mod reviews. It's just not something that I always kind of want to do. I feel like it's more of a task, and a lot of times, well, not a lot of times, it depends on what I'm messing around with. I'm half and half about it. Half of me just wants to ditch it, and the other half says it's actually kind of fun. But yeah, it is what it is. What did you come to this channel for? What did you find this channel for? What do you hang around for? What do you like seeing, and what do you like watching? Let me know in the comments. But more importantly, also, like I said, if there's a game that you guys want to see done, I'm not too picky about what that is, but I'd be curious to see. I'm not really like a Minecraft Roblox person at all. Like, those games really don't interest me very much. But anything else, I would at least like to check out and see what happens there. I've had a few people mention a few different games that I've looked at. The question is how well will that fit into that day-night sort of schedule? And that's like the only requirement for doing a playthrough like that. The other option is to kind of redo and kind of re-look at some of the games that we've played before, and some of them have been really fun. Volcanoids was a really fun game. I really had a lot of fun playing Volcanoids. There were a few others. Subnautica was fun. Subnautica Below Zero, that was fun as well. Icarus was fun. I just feel like with Icarus, there's not quite enough out for it yet to really do a good series. I want to do a series on Icarus, but I want to wait a little while to get even more updates and patches so we actually have a lot going on. I felt like it was a little bit repetitive with the map, not necessarily the gameplay, because it's kind of meant to be dropped in and you play this and you do these objectives and then you pull back out and then you reap your rewards of doing that. But it oftentimes seemed like the area of the map was like almost predictable. Like when I dropped in, I knew what to expect and I knew what was going to happen. And I don't know. I feel like so apparently they're going to add some world bosses, and they're going to add all such sorts of different things as far as the biomes. And I'm excited to see that, because on a whole, I really love the concept of that game. I just haven't really gotten to the point of whether or not it would be a good for like a series. And I tried it, and it just kind of flopped. Really, there wasn't very many people that were interested in it, which is fine. But maybe we'll try it again someday. But I have seen some suggestions about other games, and I may jump into those. We shall see. What else? I would like to start doing these things a bit more often with you guys. That's for sure. I'd like to have that kind of like an open forum with you guys a bit more often. And I would like to have other people on here. So I was thinking about, I think originally when I talked about this with like the kind of the state of the corner address, which is sort of like what was going on with the channel, while this I wanted to be more of a podcasty sort of feel, you know. Maybe just having a podcast, maybe just having other people on board that are just content creators in some way, shape, or form. Obviously maybe more around the gaming genre, but not necessarily like a YouTuber or a Twitch streamer or something like that. Maybe you're a modder, right? Like we have those in our community, and it would be kind of cool to maybe do a shout out and talk to those people and kind of get in their heads a little bit of times. I oftentimes see what mod creators create, and the end result is fantastic. And I don't realize exactly how much work and tediousness and research goes into the creation on the front end. And one of our community members is a pretty damn good modder, and I've seen screenshots back and forth of him working on something, and I'm like, this is crazy. I can't imagine trying to wrap my head around this. I don't know. I don't think I would have the patience for it. I don't think so. I always thought to myself that I'd like to make a video game too, but the truth is that I know that I'll never be able. I don't have enough time to learn how to do that. I really don't. I just need a lot of money. If I can just win the lottery tomorrow, right, and then just hire my own production company of people that I trust and that I think know what they're doing, and just make a video game. I got a hell of an imagination. I just don't know how to implement it into a game. Man, that's what I need. That would be an awesome end goal, wouldn't it? To be able to like make a fund to start up of a video game. That would be fun. Oh, I get so many ideas for something like that. That'd be insane. Man, could you imagine? Like, just take all of the favorite things that you love about your favorite games and somehow try to kit bash them into one platform. Man, I could do that. I could like write out that plot line tomorrow. Oh, that would be so much fun. I need to win the lottery. That's what has to happen. If any of you happen to have a winning lottery ticket, let me know. I'll give you my address and you can ship it over and we'll figure it out from there. What else? Live streams. We've been doing live streams. We're going to go back to the voting system on live streams. I'm going to do that. So currently we stream Friday and Saturday nights at 8 p.m. Eastern, and typically one day is ARC. And then for a while there, both days were ARC because we had a new ARC server and that's what we were doing. But I'm going to go back to what we were doing before, which is like having Friday being ARC and then Saturday being like a voting system of what people want to see. So I'm going to let you guys pick. You know, I will give you a list of games that I have, and then whatever you guys vote on is what we'll jump into. That vote is on our Discord. So probably Saturdays during the day Eastern time, I'll throw something out there and just stop by and give a thumbs up to the game you want to see. And then hopefully whoever gets the most votes, that's what we'll be playing. And I'm going to do the same thing tonight. I'm recording this Saturday. So I'm going to do the same thing here and then update it on our Discord and let people decide what we're streaming tonight. Who knows? I have a feeling, if I had to guess, I think I know what we're going to be playing, but I don't know yet. So we'll find out. We'll see what the voting does. I've also been thinking about, I don't know, obviously having people on like this podcasty sort of thing, which I want to do once a month. I'm going to really try to knuckle down and get this done once a month. These last few weeks, real life has been hectic and very crazy, and I apologize ahead of time for that, guys, but it's been a wild ride lately, and I'm trying to get myself straightened out. Just some personal stuff going on, and it's just a lot of it that all compiles and adds up, and it's just a little too busy, a little too stressful. But I am going to try to get this podcast thing done once a month. If anything, just to kind of me to chit chat and talk about what's going on and maybe some questions I have for you guys. Yeah. If you guys, I just want to know what you guys think. I think, yeah. I mean, really, that's the best way to describe it. In a lot of ways, I just want to know what you all think and how you all feel about certain things and what I should try and maybe what I shouldn't try. And I know I hear a lot of people tell me, "Oh, just play whatever game you want because it's fun, because that'll be fun for you." I understand that mentality, and I agree to an extent. But it's painful to spend a few hours recording something and then like 6 to 8 hours editing it and then uploading it, and then you check it like 2 days later and it's like 20 views. And if this is something that I want to do as a full-time thing, like if this is something that I eventually want to turn into a full-time job, that's not going to do it. So I do want to know what you guys think and how you guys, plus I'm sure there's games out there that I haven't really looked at that maybe you guys have that I could try out too. So I'm willing to at least test them out. And I feel like it would be definitely be helpful to know what you all feel and how you think, how you feel and know what you think. I don't know why I reversed that, but I did. I flipped it and reversed it. Missy Elliott style. That's how I did it. Anyway. Oh boy. What else? I feel like, I don't know. I feel like we probably covered most of what I wanted to talk about. The channel, where it's going, AAA games suck. Streaming. Yeah. AAA games aggravate me so much lately. That's such a tangent I could go on for so long. Mass Effect Andromeda. Get the hell out of here. Ugh. I don't know. I feel like you had a formula. These companies had a formula that worked, and it worked so well. And they just shat on it. They just pooped all over it. This is a bummer. This is why I need to make my millions, so I can have my own video game company and then make games that other people will make videos about and bash it because it sucks. You know? It's real easy to criticize when I'm not actually doing anything to fix the problem. You know what I mean? So take all that with a grain of salt. Remember that. Very easy to criticize when you know you don't have to do anything to try to fix anything, you know? It's all about convictions. And my convictions were so strong that the video game industry was fucked. What am I doing about it? That goes to tell you, I don't think it's that fucked. It's kind of fucked. But there are good games to come out. I don't mean to bash everybody. And I know it takes a lot to make a video game. I really do. I understand all that. And there are a lot of games that come out that I've enjoyed and that I have fun with. There's plenty more that I'm sure will come out. Nightingale. Ooh, that's what I want to talk about. I'm intrigued by that. Very intrigued by Nightingale. I've been watching videos on that one. I've been trying to keep close attention to that one. I think it's supposed to release later on this year. And that might be a fun one to play in the channel. I don't know. The art of that game, the art going on in that game really has me intrigued. I don't know how well it's going to be. I'm hoping this isn't just a big hype up for like a huge flop. Like it's really going to piss me off if this happens again. I don't know. I'm just gonna play games from the 90s, and if that happens again, I swear to you, I'm gonna buy game. Yeah, that's what it's gonna be. I'm just gonna play games from the 90s so that I know what I'm getting myself into and it's not overhyped, but I guess we'll see. From what I've seen, the game looks beautiful, and it looks like it might be a lot of fun, and the style, the artistic style of it really appeals to me a lot, so I'm really curious about that one. Valheim was another one. Man, Valheim was such a crazy game too. That game came out of nowhere. No one told me about Valheim. Nobody told me about it. I just saw it one day. I was like, what is this game? This is amazing. Honestly, I think that's probably one of the best games that came out in the last few years that I can think of off the top of my head. It's probably one of the best ones that came out in the last few years because it just kind of slid in with no expectations, and everybody was like, holy shit, that's actually really fun. And it's super, and they're still putting out content for it. I think Grounded is a really good one too, but man, Valheim, that like the creative, the very cleverness of creating that game, they went with a more, I don't want to say simplistic art style because it's just a different style for the game, but it works really well and it looks beautiful. And I can't help but to think that that's easier on the engine to run because it's a little less maintenance. But what a beautiful game. Like, and that's so much fun. And like I said, they're putting out more content for it. I'm really excited to see where that one goes for sure. I think I went off the rails again. I was talking about something and went somewhere else, but that's totally cool. Valheim could be another one that I go back and re-look at it during that 100 days sort of game day. Really need to nail that down. 100 days game. 100 days playthrough? 100 days playthrough. That's what we're going to call it from now on. 100 days playthrough. That makes more sense. It still feels wordy. 100 days in. That's what I call the playlist. 100 days in. That's what we're going to call it. 100 days in. Ooh, God. That took like 20 minutes to figure out. Anyway, that's what we're going to do. So that's pretty much it. That's where we're at. Please don't hate me too much for my opinions. They are just that. Just take them with a grain of salt. You don't have to agree with them. But more importantly, let me know what games you guys like and would maybe like to see playing on the channel, and how you feel about maybe going more heavy on the gameplay and less on the tutorialist like review sort of stuff. I still want to do it from time to time. I don't want it to be that. I don't want this channel to be that stable. Like, it's a mod review channel for Ark. Like, no, I don't want it to be I don't specifically want it to be an Ark channel. I know it started out that way, and that was really just because I was really comfortable with the game and I knew a lot about it. I don't even really want it to be an ARC channel. I just want it to be a gaming channel. Like, that's what I want. You know, it's Harv's Corner Gaming. It's not Harv's Corner ARC. It's Harv's Corner Gaming, and I'd like to maybe reinforce that a bit more. The problem is the views seem to be like, they're probably going to tank whenever that happens, and that's a bummer. But it be what it be. I think that's what's best for me and what I would like to see. And again, it's not to say that I'm just going to like hang the mod reviews up and I'm not going to do anymore, because I am still going to do them. Maybe not quite as often, but I'm still going to do them. Definitely. But that's pretty much it. I don't really have a whole lot else to talk about, I don't think. I think I covered everything that I wanted to discuss. Hopefully next time we'll have Spunny in here with me. Have a bit more one-on-one interaction going on. Maybe we'll talk to some of our community members maybe and have some of them in here. That's maybe what we'll do. That's what we'll do. I'll con somebody else into coming in here. But as always, I want to thank you guys for hanging out and thank you for being here. Links to everything that I talked about are in the description of the video, but more importantly, hit a comment and just let me know what you guys think. I want to know your opinions about what you want to see done, or how you feel about playing a certain game, or how you feel about a channel doing this or that. Any suggestion you have, any suggestion, critique, up, down, left, right, whatever it is, throw it in there and let me know. I listen to all this feedback. I may not always acknowledge it, but I can promise you I always read it. Sometimes I get too busy with everything else going on and I don't have the time to acknowledge it, but I swear to you, I read the comments on almost everything. Very rarely do I miss a comment, but sometimes I'm so bogged down I don't always have the time to respond. So I will try to get there eventually. And the same thing applies in Discord. And if you're a content creator out there, if you're a gaming content creator out there and you like the idea of maybe doing a podcast or doing some what's the word I'm looking for? I don't know why I wanted to say compilation. I think I'm losing my mind. If you want to just I forget what the word I'm using. I'm losing my mind. I forgot words. I can't remember words anymore. But if it is something that you'd like to do together, maybe stop by and talk about a podcast, or want me to go to your channel, hang out with you and do some stuff, collaborate. That's the word I was using. Maybe collaborate with you. harvscorner@gmail.com. Hit me up. Let me know. Shoot me an email, hit me up in Discord, all that good stuff. I look forward to seeing and reading you all's opinions, and as always, stay safe, be nice to each other. I will see you next time.